Are you stuck playing scales like this? If you're an intermediate piano player, you probably know your scales, but are you actually doing anything with them? At this stage, running scales for finger strength or speed isn't enough. Your practice should be about taking your playing forward and reaching that next level. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to transform those same scales into something that's musical, creative, and actually fun to play. It's a method I've used with hundreds of piano players over the years to help them break out of that frustrating intermediate plateau so they can finally start sounding like the player they want to be. Let's dive in. This is a creative exercise, meaning that we're not going to be doing exactly the same thing every time. And that is part of the fun of this. Before we jump into exactly what's going on, let me just give you a blast of what it sounds like so you can kind of get the sound world of it into your ear. You can hear the sound of the scales there, can't you? It's at the top of my right hand. It's like our melody note. That was on the way up. Let me do the same thing on the way down. I'm just kind of improvising a lot here in the accompaniment and the chords, but I'll talk you through it in a second. Just check out the sound. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a fun way to play these scales. Let's just go back a few stages. There's quite a few steps to get to that point, and I'm going to take you through all of them in this video. So the first one is to make sure you've got the scale down. We're doing this in the key of C. There's that C major scale, as you probably know. What we're then going to do is put that at the top of our right hand, and in the rest of our right hand, we're going to be playing the root and the fifth of the key, a C and a G. Okay, so check this out. There's our first one, okay? We don't need to play another C because we've already got a C as our melody note. This is the only time actually we play two notes. Then we move up to the D. Right, we're now playing three notes. We've got our scale note, which is a D, and then we've got the root on this C, and the fifth here on the G. Okay, let's go up again. There we go, we've got the scale note, and then the root and the fifth. Same again there on the F. Scale note, root, and the fifth. We're now actually playing two Gs, aren't we? Because we've got the scale note, which is a G, got the root, and then the fifth down at the bottom. Now here, when we go up to the A, that's quite a big stretch for some people. It might be that you can make that. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch positions there. We're still playing the root and fifth, but we've just changed the order. We've got the root at the bottom now and the fifth there, just below our scale note. Then we go up to the seventh, which is a B, and we end up there. Okay, so let me give you a little idea of what that looks like in kind of full flow. We're going C. There it is. And all the way through that, we're kind of holding down the sound of the key because we've got those two notes in here. I find this quite a tranquil way to play your scales. It's very calming. Just have another listen. Each note just feels supported, doesn't it? Works really well. It just sounds so kind of calming and it's a really beautiful sound. Let's now add in our left hand. And what our left hand is going to be doing is adding a bass note, or improvising a bass note, for each note of the scale. You don't want to be playing this the same every time. The whole purpose here is to get creative and improvise. Now, you can choose any note from the chromatic scale. I'm not saying they're all going to sound great on every single chord, okay? There are going to be some that sound better than others. But what you're doing here is you're training your ear to recognize sounds, listen to what you're playing and think, does that work? Or was what I played before slightly better? Or why isn't that quite working? Or actually that sounds a bit dissonant. You're training your ears all the time when you're doing this exercise, which is so important. By the way, I've put together a free PDF lesson book to go with this video. It's a complete guide with full notation and sheet music to help you bring everything we've covered into your own playing. Just click the link in the description or scan this QR code. Pop in your name and email and I'll send it straight to your inbox. Go ahead and grab it. I think you'll find it super helpful. let's have a go at doing it. So let's start here. Let's start on a regular C, okay? Let's put a C in our left hand. We don't have to do that. We could start on an F sharp, but doesn't quite sound as good. Maybe an A flat. Oh, that's quite nice. You see how we're beginning to kind of listen to the different sounds. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, let's try it through the scale. Here we go. All sounds good so far. Ah, okay. Interesting. I mean, it doesn't sound horrendous, but to my ear, it just isn't quite as pleasant sounding as some of the other ones we've played. It kind of really sticks out. And this is why this exercise is so good, because you're training your ear to compartmentalize these different sounds and to be able to work out why things might not sound as pleasant sounding as other sounds you might have played before. So let's have a look. Why doesn't that sound great? Well, I mean, I guess we're in the key of C, so obviously a D flat. You know, that's kind of strike one. We're outside of the key, okay? I mean, we have played some other interesting notes in our left hand as well, but then also, it's an interesting interval that it doesn't sound great, does it? And if I bring that D flat up here, we've got a tritone there as well, so that might be why it sounds a bit more unstable. And then you've got the B on the top. I think this isn't working. If I put all those notes together, it just doesn't sound great, okay? Let's find a better alternative. Ah, normality is resumed. There we go. Okay, that sounds better, all right, and A sounds better. Great, okay, let's go on the way down. I'll try and do the same thing on the way down. Okay, that doesn't work, okay? That's a C in our right hand with an F sharp in the left hand. Main reason I think this one doesn't work, a little tip for you. Generally speaking, this interval isn't a great interval. This interval is a minor ninth, okay? It's basically an octave and a semitone, and it just sounds terrible. If ever you want to annoy someone, you can just do that on the piano. Okay, so we want to kind of generally avoid that interval, particularly exposed like that, okay, in this kind of context. Let's see if we can find a better alternative. That works. C over F. And then, yeah. We're kind of exploring, but just as a quick tip, those are like your level 1 notes. Generally speaking, you could harmonize any notes from the major scale, and it's going to sound good with those notes. Pretty good with those notes. Yeah, 95% of the time, these notes are going to work really, really well for you. They're going to sound good. If you want to get a bit more tasty, shall we say, or spicy, experiment with these notes, okay? These notes don't fall into the regular C major scale, so sometimes they're going to work, sometimes they're not. It's all about listening and thinking, oh, does that sound good, or shall I tweak it to find something a little better? If you're just starting out with this, start with the white notes, the notes of the major scale, see what comes out, and then as you get more confident, start throwing in some of those notes that are outside of the key. Not sure about that one. Yeah, it's like you're going on a bit of a journey. You're exploring the keyboard and just getting used to the sounds you're playing and kind of making connections. That's what this is all about. Now, let's see if we can add some rhythm into what we're playing as well. So all I'm doing here is I'm almost emulating the sound of a guitar when they're finger picking and kind of making that beautiful kind of rippling, rolling sound. All I'm doing is I'm using my second finger, which is often playing either the root or the fifth, and my thumb. Those kind of notes of the key, and I'm using that to generate some rhythm. I'll just show you it in my right hand on its own. In my head, I've got the pulse really clearly going through. Take it as slow as you need to. I am improvising, but I'm improvising with limited things. I'm only using these two notes, and I'm thinking of rhythms just for those two notes. I'm always playing the scale at the beginning of each kind of, I guess it would be every 2 beats. Note, 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 note. Have a listen. See that? Scale note is always at the beginning. So it goes, I'm kind of doing here, I'm going note, improvise, scale note, which is the D, improvise, scale note, improvise, scale note, improvise. I'm kind of alternating between playing the scale note and then improvising rhythmically. If I add in my left hand with that, it sounds like this. Yeah, it's actually interesting. I'm using a similar pattern here, actually, I've realized when I'm playing this. I'm going... That's the kind of pattern. I'm in the middle of everything. I'm going like thumb, second finger, second finger. That's kind of the thing I'm doing actually here. Yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm doing in this particular version I'm playing now. Next time I might decide to go think of something on the spot. Oh. Yeah, I kind of ended up in a slightly weird place, but that was a different rhythmic pattern I was using there. I wasn't doing the same thing. And it's really important you actually try and change up what you're doing every single time you do this. A really quick way to do it would be just to record yourself. Listen back to it the next day and think, right, I really liked that, but I'm going to find something different to what I played yesterday. Let's do a different one. Well, that got a bit edgy towards the end, didn't it? I quite like that one. Just a bit unexpected. Ooh. Just about getting creative, trying things out, and most importantly, not being afraid to make mistakes. That's the most crucial thing here. You just literally have to throw yourself in and see what comes out. This is all about getting more creative with your piano warm-ups. Now, people always ask me, what do you include as part of your piano warm-up routines? What should I be doing? What should I be working on? Well, if that sounds like something you're interested in, I think you're really going to enjoy this video up here where I take you through my ultimate piano warm-up. Go give that video a click and I'll see you over there.